You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Hey, how you doing? It's great to be back in my office, thankfully. Let me see, who's that messaging me? Okay, right. Joey should be with us in a few minutes. My name is Mick McQuillan, and welcome to Freedom, Health, and Lifestyle. And you know, what is it? Well, it's Freedom, Health, and Lifestyle. Personal development with a business plan. That's really what it's about. And of course, look, you can find out more. And look, you can go to the My Why Tribe. The My Why Tribe is to help people find their why, live with purpose, and grow together. There's a WhatsApp community you can go to. If you go to that bit.ly link there, and there's a Zoom registration where we're going to be launching it at the end of September, maybe beginning of October. Dates might change a little bit, you know, just by a couple of days. But anyway, go and check it out. So yeah, okay. Let me see. We'll get that in a second. This is my good friend Joey Younger, coming in from Australia. Listen, just doing a little bit of housekeeping, Joey, just letting people know what we're doing here. Freedom, Health, and Lifestyle, personal development, a business plan. And of course, I was telling them about the My Why Tribe. But this episode is episode 111, and 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. And it's only one video. It's only short. But what I want to do is go through these 5 steps and get Joey's feedback after every step. Right? I want to hear what Joey's got to say. But again, this show is all about thinking better, doing better, and just being better in general. We all want better. It doesn't matter whether it's better health, better fitness, better lifestyle, better finances. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you just want a better house. Don't care. Maybe you want a better job. Don't care. It's all about just better. So don't forget, like, subscribe, share the link, click the notification button. You'll hear when we're on each week, usually around about the same time. But again, listen, it's just great being back in my office. Don't forget, you can find Joey here at facebook.com/Joey Unger. Let me have a look. See what Joey's been up to. Hold on. Let's have a quick look. See what he's doing. See what he's doing. Okay. Here's what this is about. What's this about here, Joey? Say hello anyway. Say hello first.
Yeah, good day, everyone. This is Joye Click here from Sydney, Australia. Always a pleasure and a blessing to have my good friend Mike McKillen all the way from Ireland with me on Sunday. Late here, I think in early morning in Ireland. But so we're very grateful. I hope we add value in some way. Part of my journey is just to reflect on my grow up and the where I come from. And I think I take my origin to take where I come from with me. It always comes back to where what you said before, Mike. You can take a boy from the island, but you're never going to take the island from the boy. So everywhere I go, I still reflect on those good time, the lifestyle that we use. Because even though I live overseas now, but the simplicity of living in the island is just amazing. No need to worry about paying bills and stuff like that. You can live out of the land and the sea. You look left and right. There's a coconut there that you can drink, eat, make house from it. So that's those pizza back in 2012 when the last time I took my old man. Here's it at the front of the banquet or the feast. That's him and my son. They were eating some Tongan traditional food. I love how I think my son is the very blessing one in all the grandchildren. He's the only one that went back with my dad all the way to the island. And I got a lot of people from our community said to my son, "You are the real newer because you grew up here, but you already been to the island where everyone talk about this is where they come from." So because most of them live overseas, they're going back there. Maybe their grandfather or their parents were born and raised in this island, but because of how important to them of the origin, they count themselves, even though they were born and raised in Australia, but because they have a connection through their parents or grandparents to the island. So they always talk about the island, but they never been to the island. So my son is very fortunate to have that opportunity to go back to the island and see and he still remember, even though he was like maybe 8 or 9 at that time. I think 8. He still remember a lot of things, and it's a one in a lifetime opportunity for him. But I'm glad I did that, especially when my dad was still around, because that's the memory that stick, like Bob Proctor talk about.
Amazing. So don't forget, go and check out Joey on facebook.com/Joey.Unger and see what he's been up to and follow him. And of course, you can find me here, the real Mick McQuillan. Don't go there because I'm never there, right? Just find me somewhere else, right? Find me here, right? This is where I am. I'm here every Sunday. Like you can try and find me on Real Mick McQuillan on Facebook, but might be 6 months before I get back to you, right? Because I never go. I'm never there, right? Right, okay. So, Joey, I've got this one video, right? So I came across this on TikTok, and I just thought it was fascinating. It's only 2 or 3 minutes long, maybe a little bit longer, not that much longer. But it's Jim Rohn, and he goes through 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. And I think these are steps that anybody can follow. So I kind of want to watch it with you and get your thoughts on it, right? And just see. And listen, just a special shout out to Joey and thanks to Joey for being on a call on Tuesday morning. And of course, if you go to my TikTok channel where you can find me there, I think that's the real Mick McQuillan. I'm not sure, can't remember. Links are in the description anyway for My Y Tribe, and of course the video is in the My Y Tribe. In the My Y Tribe community, there's a couple of groups. One is called Inspiration, and if you join that Inspiration group, you'll see the video of Joey, telling part of his story, not all of it, just part of it, and it's fascinating, inspirational stuff. Do you know what I mean? And I would recommend. And if Joey hasn't posted it on his page, if he hasn't, he should have done by now, right? I'm not telling you off, Joey, but you should have done. Right. All right. So, anything you want to add before we watch this video, or part of it?
No, Mike. I just want to say thank you for inviting me to for the, excuse me, for that call. And it's a privilege, and I think it's a blessing when you have an opportunity to share the story with others. I share with my family, I share with my loved ones. The people that they know me, but to extend that reach to the other part of the world, to UK, to Zambia, and also Ireland, it's a privilege and an honor for me. And I truly humbled by your generosity. You're inviting me to share my story with your business partners and colleagues. So very grateful, and thank you. I can't I don't have the right word to express my gratitude to you.
The feedback. I sent the feedback on that I got from some of the people that I shared it with, and to be honest, they were blown away by it. Do you know what I mean? Powerful stuff. So if you haven't seen it, join the WhatsApp community. Join the links are in the description. Go to the Inspiration group and watch it for yourself. Because it's fascinating, and it's just the beginning. It's really exciting. Right, okay, right. Let's watch a bit of this and see.
Very interesting subject. I call it 5.
So this is the. I don't think I can change the layout on this. I just want to see it. I don't think I can. No, can't do it. Let me see. No. I've broken it. What have I done? Okay, here we go. Right, so this is just Jim Rohn, and he's going to go through these 5 steps, right? And to be honest, I don't know where this video originates from. I'd love to see the original video because it's definitely been produced, So I'll have to try and find out more because there must be a bigger clip than this. Let me see. All right, let's go. Oh.
5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. Let me give you this simple little talk. How to go from average to fortune. There's 5 simple steps. You might like to make a note of them. Here's the first one. Get serious. That's number 1. I don't know any substitute for that. You've really got to get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. I know a guy that's got a half a dozen jokes keeping him from becoming wealthy. He's not known as rich. He's known as a joker, which I guess is okay if that's the kind of life you want to live. But it really isn't the best way to live. To go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about 2 very important things. Number 1 is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What would you like to have? What would you like to share? How much would you like to earn? How far would you like to go? Those are some major questions to ask. And for that all to work out like you want it to for the next 5 or 10 years, in my personal opinion, you've got to get serious. Then you have to get serious about another important subject. And that important subject is called personal development. Personal development is striving hard to become the kind of person that you want to be. And to become the kind of person you want to be, you've got to work at it. 10 years from now, you will surely become someone. The big question is, who? What are you becoming? And if you go to work on it now, sure enough, in a very short period of time, you can take on a new direction to become the kind of person you want to be. There's a very important question to ask. The question is, 10 years from now, you will surely arrive. And the question is, where? So to answer the question of where you want to arrive and the kind of person you want to be, you've got to get serious. So that's point number 1. To make your life worthwhile and unique, to go from average to fortune, you've got to get serious. Now, the second point is get smart. To make your life work out worthwhile, you've got to have some ideas. You've got to have the information. So you've got to be smart. In fact, in this decade, you must be much smarter than you were in the last decade. You've got to read the books. You've got to come up with the information. When I have a chance to talk to the high school kids, that's the theme of my talk. Get smart. There's nothing worse than being stupid. And if you will read the books, learn from your experiences, do all the things that you possibly can to get the information, sure enough, you'll be wiser this year than you were last year. And I've got a few techniques that I teach in my seminar on how to get smarter, keeping a journal, going to the lectures, going to the seminars, listening to the sermons, picking up ideas from other people. You just must keep up this steady process of learning. Never cease your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the key points to go from average to fortune. Get smart. Now here's number 3.
All right, Joe. So I jumped ahead. I jumped a little bit further ahead there than I really wanted to. But you probably heard the first point, setting goals, right? So this is step 1. Get serious. He was talking about getting serious, which really comes down to that making a committed decision, doesn't it? It's interesting because when you think about making a committed decision, you need to know what you're committing to, which is the reason for the goal, the reason for the planning out the next 5 or the 10 years, and saying, right, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. What are your thoughts? Oh, you're muted.
Rookie. We're never gonna get out of rookie.
No.
Yeah, getting serious is a I like how he's Jim Rohn is one of the mentor that I truly respect. He's one of them. And when I make that decision to change my health 5 years ago from a hospital bed, that's when I start to attracting people like him. I went through, I think I started with Proctor, then it led me to the Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn led me to other mentor. But anyway, 5 simple steps. I like how it it's so true, because in life I learned that most people don't take take things seriously in life, and I can use my health. When I didn't take serious on my health until I end up in hospital, and when I realized how important my health is, then my mindset shift, and my attitude toward my health has been shift since then, because I know I need to be healthy, to be active, to be have the kind of health that I really really want, is to be serious. Because if I take it lightly, if I don't take it seriously, I will stay in the same position. I think he mentioned something about you have to know where you are and where you want to go. What sort of result did you really want? I think Bob Proctor always emphasized on that. Serious come from what you really, really want. A lot of people, they don't make serious because they don't really know what they really want. They're just drifting and kind of like wishing and hoping. They haven't set their mind. This is very important to me, especially my health, and that's why I work on my health every single day. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect the whole week, but I know some week that I got some commitment to involve with. But when I miss what I need to work on that week, the next day I try to make it up. And Jim Rohn said, what you lack in skill, in skill, you can still make up in numbers. But that's the mindset of someone that being serious of what he really wants. That's just, and it's good that he first give that as the first step, is to be serious. because I think that's why we're doing what we do and try to educate people so they can wake up and be serious, especially, you know.
Yeah, because he did say, he said you don't have to be grim. He said, but you have to be serious. And that makes a lot of sense because sometimes when you're serious, you're like stern. Like he's not talking about being serious from the point of view of, being square, being rigid. He's talking about just being dedicated, serious to what it is that you're looking to achieve, and laying out those stepping stones, with goals. And he talked about, that in 5 or 10 years you're going to arrive. How do you want to arrive? Who is the person that you want to be? You want to like if you, the simple facts are that if you don't change something, nothing changes. In fact, it only deteriorates. And Bob Proctor talks about this, and Jim Rohn talks about this. That if you're not moving forwards, you're going backwards. You're being left behind, because other people are moving forwards. They're. But then the funny thing is, Joe, that I can't remember who said it. Can't remember who it was. Maybe you'll remember. But was it Earl Nightingale was talking about the majority of people don't set goals. They don't set goals.
I think
they don't.
Yeah.
I think something like only 5% of people set goals.
Yeah.
And those people that do, they seem to have everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And if you're not setting goals, in fact, Brian Tracy also said that if you're not setting goals, you're going to end up working for someone who has goals. Do you know what I mean? You're going to be working on someone else's goals.
Yeah.
Which is very true. So anyway, listen. Let's go again. Let's have a look. How do I do this? Right.
And Mike, if you allow me to something would come up with me when it's, you can tell someone is serious when you ask him what is your goal, and he tell you what is his goal and what he was, how long it will take him to at the time. He give you his goal, and he give you the time that he think that he will work on it to it. That's someone is being. And I think if I watch sport, and I think every team, they have a goal, whether to win the trophies this year or win the medal gold in Olympic. In any professional sport, they have goals. And I think as us as entrepreneurs, we have goals. We have numbers that we and time frame that we are working toward. That's indicate that we are being serious with what we do.
No, it's true. It's true. Like I have you talked about journaling there actually, and I have a book that every day at the beginning of the day I write down, my short-term and long-term goal, and of course they get adjusted based on dates and different things. Do you know what I mean? In fact, to be honest, I would call them short, medium, and long-term goals. Because I have a weekly goal, what I want to achieve that week. Like just little things. But I was saying a couple of weeks ago on a different call that what I would do, Joe, is I'd have my book, right, and I was writing down, my main goals right at the very top, and then below that I'd have my to-do list with all the things I've got to do, and that would include all of my daily admin type tasks and everything else like this. And I would do this over 2 pages. I keep this page blank, and then I would add things, during the day that I need to. They just get added. Do you know what I mean? I want to get kind of done. And this list, 3 or 4 weeks ago, this list was like this big. Do you know what I mean? It was like, of all of the things that I wanted to do. And then I can't remember what I was watching, what I was listening to. I think I was listening to You Were Born Rich remastered webinar, which I just love putting it on when I'm driving. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And John Canary was telling the story about how he had how this guy went into a business and gave the CEO this what would you call it? This technique of just writing down the 6 things that you need to get done, put them in priority, work on the first one until you get it done. And I thought, right, okay, I'm going to change that. I'm just going to put down the 2 things I need to get done that day. The 2 things. And to be honest, Joe, I'll be honest with you, I got more done that week than any other week because I just put down the 2 things that I needed to get done that day. And all I did was focus on those 2 things. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I still had all my administration tasks that I needed to get done, my dashboard, my emails, requested, accepted, quotations, all these kind of stuff. Still had all these things that need to get done. But whenever I wasn't doing one of those things, my focus was just on those 2 things in priority, doing the first thing. And then when I got that first thing as far as I could get it, and I was waiting on someone else, I moved on to the second thing. And over that week, I made so much progress. Do you know what I mean? I thought, right, okay, I'm not stepping back from this. This is how I'm going to do things from now on. And that's really what I've been doing. Do you know what I mean? And I find it working very, very well. But again, that's about getting serious, right? That's just about being serious. But having something to work on, having something to work towards, So, but it comes down to goals. I think we need to watch a bit more of this. Maybe I'll go back. Maybe we'll watch that little bit again, that little first bit again, just because it's worth it, Joey. I think it's worth it. It's worth it for me anyway, right? And this video, by the way, is in the MyY tribe. And if the links are in the description, click on to join the MyY tribe. And in the group inside that community, there's a group called Inspiration. This video is in there, and it's worth watching. Right, I should really post the video that we watched at the beginning because I love that video. I think I will put that in later today. Okay.
Let me give you this simple little talk. How to go from average to fortune. There's 5 simple steps. You might like to make a note of them. Here's the first one. Get serious. That's number 1. I don't know any substitute for that. You've really got to get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. I know a guy that's got 6 jokes keeping him from becoming wealthy. He's not known as rich. He's known as a joker, which I guess is okay if that's the kind of life you want to live. But it really isn't the best way to live. To go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about 2 very important things. Number 1 is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What would you like to have? What would you like to share? How much would you like to earn? How far would you like to go? Those are some major questions to ask. And for that all to work out like you want it to for the next 5 or 10 years, in my personal opinion, you've got to get serious. Then you have to get serious about another important subject. And that important subject is called personal development. Personal development is striving hard to become the kind of person that you want to be. And to become the kind of person you want to be, you've got to work at it. 10 years from now, you will surely become someone. The big question is, who? What are you becoming? And if you go to work on it now, sure enough, in a very short period of time, you can take on a new direction to become the kind of person you want to be.
Joe, it's just, to be honest, he asked that series of questions, where do you want to go? How much do you want to earn? All of these things. How often do we actually sit down with a pen and paper and answer those questions for ourselves? Do you know what I mean? I suppose one of the things that, that I have been doing is applying a value to the work that I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? So the goals. So if I want to have, this, it's going to generate that. Do you know, so that I do have those things. In fact, when I was coming down here this morning, I was leaving my house and there's a number in my head of about 300,000. And I've got a date. I'm not going to tell you the date, right? And I was walking up to the car and I was thinking, right, okay, that date, 300 grand. And I'm thinking, yeah, I can do that. And it's just like, but I've been saying that to myself for so long that I believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was brand new to this and I said that you could earn 300,000 or 450,000 or you could earn $1 million a year, if you're brand new to this, you'd be like, oh no, I don't think I could ever do that. You wouldn't believe it. But again, it comes back to, Bob Proctor telling yourself this little lie, because his story is, that he had a goal of making 25,000, in 10 years. He made it in a couple of months, and he went on to make $1 million a year, more than $1 million a year. He didn't even know how he was doing it. Just knew that he was following this plan that was given to him. Basically, is given to all of us. It's in the book Think and Grow Rich. That's the roadmap is in there for people to learn from if they want to. And I'm just fascinated by all of this stuff, but getting serious. But I think you have to do what you were saying, figure out where you are, where you want to go next 5 years, next 10 years, write down all the things you want to do, how you want to do it. And then he goes on to personal development, which is, Joey, personal development is so hard because it means that you've got to admit that, to start off with, that you're not the best version of yourself. Do you know what I mean? And no one wants to admit that to themselves. No one wants to say, oh, I'm not as good as I could be. I'm not as good as I can be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a hard pill to swallow, I think. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when we talk about personal development, I always remember the phrase that said, every master was a disaster, and
Like it.
no one was born perfect in this world. We learn to grow and strive every single day, because we are not like a tree. We can grow to the maximum that we want to grow. The tree can go to a certain level and stop, whether it's height or width. But as a human being, we can grow more than that. We can jump higher than we jump. That we can grow more than what we can grow. We can earn more than what we earn. And I think that's the basic idea of personal growth, is have the awareness that we have a potential in us. And I think this is coming back from the video that we listen to every single day. When you realize you have a amount of potential in you, or power within you, that you can create or design anything that you want in your life, you can grow more, you can earn more, you can live more, you can run further in life, or jump higher in life. So personal development is a concept that I truly embrace in my journey. Since I make that committed decision that I'm going to work on my health, the first thing that come to mind is I have to work for things to get better. I have to get better, and for things to I don't have to wish that things going to be easier, but I wish I was better. And when I understand that, that's the spirit and the life of a person that want to develop every single day. And like I said, no one was born perfect. We learn to grow, we learn to run, or to walk and run. So personal development is and it's a very powerful concept. And I think that's what makes different successful people and average people, because they work on themselves every single day. They work to develop themselves because they know that they are the asset. They are they are the asset. For things to happen in their life, they have to develop themselves to have the awareness that I have the gift, I have the talent, I have the spirit, I have the drive, I have the desire, the ambition to go out and just do whatever I can with, if you believe in God, with God help, you can go after what you really, really want in life. But personal development, like he make the definition, is striving hard to become the person you want to be. And I think that's the sad thing. A lot of people, they haven't tried harder in life, but that's okay, because everyone is different. But when you wake up from a hospital bed and realize, man, if I gone today, man, I remember a story that was still by Les Brown or something, or someone like that. He said, imagine if in your deathbed, all the talent and all the gift that you have within you, and come in spirit and said to you, how dare are you to hold and being selfish and don't release us to go out and just live what we want to achieve, what we want to become, because you didn't make that committed decision to work on your health, work on your personal growth development. So anyone that decided to grow or make change in their life, like Jim Rohn said, first he has to be serious, and serious come with setting goals, know where you are, know where you want to go in 5 years, 10 years, what you want to accomplish, write it down. And then sometimes they said all it come down from the head to a piece of paper. So whatever you think about it, it happens when you take that idea and put on a piece of paper. Because as soon as you write down your goal on a piece of paper, it's like you bring them to life. Those thoughts, idea, because they're energy, they're vibration. And when you put them on a piece of paper, it's at the first manifest of what you do, of what you wish, you hope and wish and want to do, is you put them on a piece of paper. And when you see that, I want to grow my income, or I want to increase my portfolio, or I want to success in this, and you put some time on it, it's already come to life, because it come from the thought, and you put down on a piece of paper. So personal growth, it's anyone can benefit if they want to really study it and found out what's going to benefit from it. So I like how you really dig into it tonight by getting serious and also work on your personal development.
Do you know, like for a while now, I've been calling personal development personality development, because you are developing your personality, you're developing your character, and the change comes from inside, to be honest, it can be a little bit airy-fairy. I get that, and I'm not really an airy-fairy person from that perspective. But it is about developing your personality and, getting smarter. That doesn't mean that you think that you're better than anybody else, but you learn to keep your mouth shut sometimes, instead of, and I'm talking about the being reactive towards being responsive. You react to situations or you respond to situations and things like that. And that comes with a personality shift, a personality development. And you only do that by learning about yourself and becoming a better version of yourself. Like the personality stuff, the personal development stuff, Joey, is hard. Do you know what I mean? I'm so grateful for audiobooks. I love audiobooks. They just make my life better, because I spend so much time driving around doing different things. I can just have them on in the background. I can be listening to them. And to be honest, even in the mornings when I get up and I put something on, I find something on YouTube, put on an audiobook or something like that. And quite often you'll be doing something and then something will just catch your attention. And I'll go to it and I'll just go back. What was that about? Do you know what I mean? Just go back, and listen to it. And that's why these clips, that we're watching here, I find them very convenient. If you go to TikTok and just go in the search button, put in personal development, there's a whole bunch of them that come up, and you can listen to the same one over and over again to get an understanding of what it is it's saying. Because you get this big book, and sometimes it's hard. You read the whole thing, and you're kind of like, oh my god, your brain is kind of frazzled. Whereas you get to these little clips, get to de-chunk it and get to listen to one little bit. You're able to hear it over and over again until you get a better understanding of it, and how that philosophy might work with you, how you can put that philosophy to work for yourself. So it is interesting. Anyway, listen, let's crack on. Otherwise, we'll be here all bloody day. Right.
There's a very important question to ask, and the question is, 10 years from now, you will surely arrive. And the question is, where? So to answer the question of where you want to arrive and the kind of person you want to be, you've got to get serious. So that's point number one. To make your life worthwhile and unique, to go from average to fortune, you've got to get serious. Now, the second point is get smart. To make your life work out worthwhile, you've got to have some ideas. You've got to have the information. So you've got to be smart. In fact, in this decade, you must be much smarter than you were in the last decade. You've got to read the books. You've got to come up with the information. When I have a chance to talk to the high school kids, that's the theme of my talk. Get smart. There's nothing worse than being stupid. And if you will read the books, learn from your experiences, do all the things that you possibly can to get the information, sure enough, you'll be wiser this year than you were last year. And I've got a few techniques that I teach in my seminar on how to get smarter, keeping a journal, going to the lectures, going to the seminars, listening to the sermons, picking up ideas from other people. You just must keep up this steady process of learning. Never cease your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the key points to go from average to fortune. Get smart. Now here's number 3.
So just quickly on that, Joe, and I know we've already touched on it, but listening to it again, I was able just to pick out, just 2 things, right, which I didn't really hear before, right? So he's talking about ideas, and he's talking about acting on those ideas. You have to act on them. You have to get smart, act on your ideas. And then he talked about learn from your experiences, Now, those 2 things alone, what do they equal? If you act on your ideas, as long as they're good ideas, they've got to be good ideas, not stupid ideas. Do you know what I mean? They have to be good ideas. You have to act on those ideas, good ideas. Whether it be having a great product and sharing it with somebody. Do you know what I mean? Just like you might share a great movie. You've got a great product, you make a great product, or you have access to a great product, you share that product with somebody, and you're able to make profits, right? But if you share it and the way that you're sharing it isn't working, you got to learn from that. Instead of doing it over and over again, you got to learn from it and then do it in a different way until you get the outcome that you want. So act on your ideas, learn from your experiences. I think, who was it? It might have been you that was talking about it, actually, that was saying that, Michael Jordan failed so many times, he failed his way all the way to success. Do you know what I mean? But he was learning. Do you know what I mean? Learning, constantly learning. And that's what Jim Rome's talking about here. Constantly learning from your failures, from your experiences. You could change that experiences to failures, learn from your failures. Because we fail all the time, all of the time. But again, act on your idea. You see a pretty girl, you think, oh God, I'm going to ask her out. And then you don't ask her out. And you're like, damn, they should have asked her out. Do you know what I mean? You've got to act on your idea. Do you know what I mean? You see a pretty girl and say, hey, listen, do you want to go out on a date? She might say no, right? You failed, but you acted on your idea, and you learn from your experience. The next time you ask, maybe you don't ask the way you did. Maybe you say, hey, listen, if I was to ask you out, would you like to go on a date? What would you say? And they might say, and then at least they're going to think about it in a different way. Maybe they're going to pause, and then they might say no, and they're going to go, oh, I've got to learn from that experience. What I'm saying isn't working, So look, I don't get it. I'm not talking about anybody who's dating. I'm married, so look, I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, it's just, just trying to give you that idea, about acting on an idea. So, the personal development stuff, the learning, but acting on your ideas, learning from your experiences are two key things. Because if you carry on doing the same thing and expecting a different result, when it's definitely not working, I don't know what that's delusional. It's just bananas. It's just crazy. So go on, I'll let you can take the floor and then we'll listen to the next bit.
No, I can relate to a lot of things that you share. And how you talk about you drive a lot, and Mike, I turn my car into a university now. I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to one off. I listen to a good music just to boost my energy. But most of the time, I just plug into something. I plug into audio training, audio books most of that time, and it feeds my spirit. It feeds my brain and my mind to stay in the course. It's so true. And sometimes and lately, when I listen to good things, I act on that. I tried it, and if it's not work, I review what I did. It didn't work, and then I adjust and do it again. And then when it's not working, I review it again and try it again. I think, keep a journal. You talk about it. Go to seminar. Listen to other people that already done what you have in life, or they already accomplished what you want to accomplish in life. Books. YouTube. Nowadays there's a lot of resources. It's only those that work on themselves, personal development, that they have the hunger, because they know where they are and they know where they want to go. So they have to work on themselves every single day to 1% better toward their goals. So I'll better leave it with that so we can continue on. Thank you.
To be honest, Joe, I don't think we can leave it there, Joe. I don't think we can leave it there, because you said something there which is almost, challenges me, right? It does, and it's not the fact of what you said, it's what it implies, right? That, like, if you want to grow, it means that you have to fail. You have to fail over and over and over again. You have to keep failing, until that growth happens, until that learning happens, until that thing, until you find a way. And that's hard, Joey. That's hard. Unless it's something that you really want, right? Like when I started my business, which today is Ireland's largest, most recommended, most trusted, in-home pet care company. But when we started, I was told it would never work. When we reached out to people, we got lots of no's, lots of negative. Do you know what I mean? We got lots of negative from lots of different people. But my attitude was, no, I'm not accepting that environment, that reality. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to create my own. And I think that's part of it, where you have to be, and it's not even disciplined. It's almost, you have to be pig kind of ignorant to it, to the negative, and you have to have that constant belief that, no, this is what I want. And it has to be so, so ingrained that, no, I'm doing this. I'm doing it. Nothing is going to stop me. Even when everybody's telling you that, no, not going to work, not going to work. No one's going to do it. No one's going to use it. No, it won't work here. All of those kind of things. And you have to know. It's not even in the head. It's in here. It's in here. You've got to know in here that, no, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And then all of a sudden, you start learning what to say. In fact, Eric Worre talks about it in his GoPro book, which is a great book, by the way. He talks about it takes 10,000 hours to be an expert. So that's 10,000 hours of learning what not to do. Thomas Edison, 10,000 attempts at creating a light bulb. And he only found one that worked. 9,999 that didn't. He had to carry on. But he had to know that he could do it. He had to know he could do it. Just like you have to know you can do it. I have to know I can do it. And that's it. So, that's hard. When I think about it, it's hard to accept. When you're thinking, right, okay, I want to change my life. I want to change. I'm going to get serious. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to write down my goals. These goals that I don't fucking even believe that I can do right now. Do you know what I mean? But somehow I'm going to be able to do it over the next 5 or 10 years. And over the next 5 or 10 years, I'm going to experience all of this failure. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I'm going to have successes along the way. I'm going to grow along the way into this person. And that's what it's about. You have to sacrifice, Joe. We've talked about this before. There has to be a sacrifice, doesn't there? And it's almost a self-sacrifice. You have to be willing to put yourself right on the line, to get shot down, to get, all of these things, to get laughed at, to get humiliated. Do you know what I mean? You experienced it when you told people, I'm going to join the army. Oh, you're too old, you're this, you're that. Do you know what I mean? But you reached inside you and said, no, that's their opinion. It's not mine. It's not the opinion you had of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you can listen to those people. So it's fascinating, Joey. This stuff is deep, man. It's deep.
It is. It is indeed. It cut through to the throat.
It does. Right,
You've
number
got to
3.
get going. All of the things that you've learned will not do you that much good if you don't put it into an action plan. You've got to get going. In my management and leadership seminar, we teach game plans, how to put all the good things that you've learned into action. Economic action, social action, personal action. How to make the changes and how to actually do the work, how to actually function. Get going, that's the key. Some people are ever learning, but they don't put it into action. They don't really take the action. It's like the man who keeps bringing materials to the building site and never builds anything. He keeps bringing in the sand and the gravel and the windows and the doors and the roofing material, and he just stacks up all these supplies, but he never builds anything. See, if you do that long enough, fairly soon they'll come and take you away. You've got to do something with what you've learned. You've got to take action. You've got to get going. So that's one of the most important things to learn, how to design your days, how to design your weeks, how to design the months, so that you take the proper action to get the proper return that you're looking for, whether it's economic or personal. Get going. Now here's number 4. You must get excited.
All right, Joe, let me know your thoughts. You might have noticed that to jump up. Like when I left this morning, I parked up outside. It was nice and sunny, right? And I left both my windows down. And then as we were talking, I thought, can I hear rain? I think it's raining. I think it's raining outside. It's absolutely lashing outside. So I just had to jump up and close my windows because I think I'm gonna have a wet arse going home now, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. I was paying attention to the thing.
So go on,
Oh,
tell me. You were talking about you've got to get going.
you got to get going. I think that's one of the goal for us. For all of us. You yourself, myself, and everyone that listen to this call. Sometimes enough learning, enough discussing, planning. Sometimes we just have to get on with it. Just get going. And I think there's if you didn't get going and do something about your car, later on we'll get a wet car seat after that. But because it's something just click. And I think in our journey, I think I experienced that. Sometimes it just click because I work on myself and I've experienced and I trial and error and plan, do and review it. And because the failure, I learn a lot from my failure than my success. Sometimes it just click. And then when I act on that, just get on with that, even though I don't understand why I do that, but I just get on because it's like my gut feelings telling me, get up and do something, talk to that person. And when I talk to that person knows someone, and that someone knows someone, then end up become a prospect or become a possible business partner for myself. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes in life we just have, when you experience that gut feeling or that instinct, you just had to get going. And get going mean you act on it. Act on it. If you fail, don't dwell on it. Learn from the experience and just keep going. Try to plan, do, review, and adjust. Because unfortunately, like you said before, with Eric Worre book, 10,000 hours to be good at something, unfortunately, you will get better. But doing, and this is from Eric Worre too, the learning is coming from the doing. We can read, we can listen to something, but as soon we do it and apply it, that's when we experience failure or mistake. And that's why we learn better. I think we develop to learn better, when we make mistake. We were not, winning. A lot of people thought they learn a lot from their winning, but I believe a lot of successful people in this world, they learn more from their failure and the frequency of their failure that make them better and better entrepreneur or better business people or better father or, you name it.
I remember growing up, Joy, I used to go to work with my dad, right? My dad worked in construction. I worked in construction for nearly 17 years, maybe a little bit more. But I used to go to work with my dad, and when I was about 14 or 15, I've been going to work with my dad since I was like maybe 6 or 7. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So even when you're 6 and 7, you know, you're watching, you're taking things in. You know, you're looking, how does he drive? How does he do this? How does he do all these things? And operating heavy machinery and all that kind of stuff. So by the time you get to 13 or 14, you kind of know a little bit, you know, and you think you know a lot, right? So my dad would let me do things. He would, you know, he'd say, go and do this, you know, and I'd do it. And he'd watch me do it. And I'd be doing it the way I thought I should be doing it, you know, and then he'd rear up on me. He'd go, no, that's not the right way to do it. And I'd say, well, I've done it. He said, well, that's not the right way of doing it. There's a way of doing it, and there's a right way and a wrong way of doing it. Do you know what I mean? And then he'd make me do it again, right? And I'd be so mad. I'd be raging because I'd done it. Do you know what I mean? I'd done it. Just hadn't done it the right way. And I'd be so mad about it. But the funny thing is, because of that emotion, you know, that anger, you know, doing it right then the next time, it stuck. Do you know, I was angry. Do you know what I mean? You know, that I was being made to do it again. And because it was wrapped in emotion, I never forgot the experience. Never. Do you know, I remembered the right way of doing it. But the amount of times that happened, the amount of times that my dad would watch me doing things wrong, and then when it was complete, making me do them again. Yeah, and don't forget, this was physical labor, right? So you were putting your back into shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then he'd make me do it again. So you'd have to take it all down, take it all apart and do it again. And it would make me so mad. But they were real learning experiences. Do you know what I mean? So even when you're doing this stuff, you have to be emotionally involved in it. Like you say, you know, you have to be emotionally involved in it to be able to learn from it, you know? So, yeah, no, funny.
Aren't you grateful for what your dad has been teaching you and showing you?
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad is my hero. I love my dad. Do you know what I mean? He really is. You know, and, you know, he taught me everything that I knew, certainly in that world, and, you know, and how to behave in most environments. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, to be strong, to stand up for myself, you know, to be, you know, to be courageous, you know, to not accept, you know, like, you know, my dad would stand up for the little person. Do you know what I mean? Like if something had to be said, he'd say it, which sometimes still gets me in trouble, you know? But sometimes things have to be said, you know? But anyway, yes, you know, you've got to get going. You do have to get going. And what do they say? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. Do you know what I mean? And that's really what it's about. You know, you have to be tough. Bob Proctor talks about it in the video we're going to watch at the end. It's going to take guts and goals. You know, it takes guts and it takes goals. That video that we're going to watch at the end is definitely, it encapsulates all of this stuff, Joe. So I keep saying it every week. You know, it's all in that video. Right, let's get going. Let's get going ourselves and let's see.
And not just the false enthusiasm of just pure positive thinking. You've got to get excited over some very basic things. One is, get excited over your ability to make yourself do the necessary things. Because discipline is major step one toward personal progress. And anytime a person wishes to, they can make major changes in their life, personally and socially and financially. It doesn't ever have to be the same after today. No telling what you could do today if you really wished to. The act of murder is a clear indication that a person in one drastic act can forever change the course of their life. It just happens to be in the negative direction. What I would ask you to do, starting today, is get excited about committing an act that's positive, an act that's constructive, to make the changes in your life that you want made, and to go the direction that you want to go. So that's number 4, get excited. Get excited about your potential. Human capacity is usually never the problem. Little children can learn several languages. We can learn to do the most incredible things. All we need to do is take the time to do it. So it's not a matter of capacity. It's a matter of judgment. It's a matter of excitement, it's a matter of will, and it's a matter of wanting to bad enough. So it's pretty exciting to know that any day you wish, you can change your life. Any day you pick out, you can make major changes. It doesn't ever have to be the same again.
Joey, that is so fascinating. Do you know, when I think about it, any day that you like, and you talk about this, and you've talked about it before, where you talk about every morning you get the opportunity to start all over again. Do you know what I mean? Where you get that chance to do it again, to do something different. And that's what Jim Rome's talking about here. Every day you have the opportunity to decide to make major changes, you know, and it just takes the act of changing, just, you know, acting on those ideas, you know, everything that you were talking about. Right, go on, give us some feedback, and then we'll listen to the last section, and then we'll get your final thoughts.
You're so right, Mike, and I think I got it from you. That phrase it's very, it's part of my journey now, because every day, I'm grateful, I'm happy, I'm grateful that I have another opportunity to embrace the opportunity in front of me. Because before there's opportunity in front of you, you don't act on it, you don't do something about it. But now, every day, I work on something to make me excited of what I'm going to achieve, not overnight, but over time, and you're so right. Every day we have an opportunity to work on something that can excite us, that make us happy, make us feel good, make us, want to give more, want to share more, want to help more people. So, and every opportunity, we all have 24 hours each. For every person have 24 hours, and I know I share something with a friend lately, because I went and helped our church community with cooking in a traditional way, digging up the hole. I think you can check it out on my Facebook live. We just dig up a bit, and then we just light up a fire and put some meat on it, cook on the rocks, and it was amazing, delicious. And then I came back, went to a training with the volunteers organization that I'm part of it, and one guy said to me, you just unstoppable, you just everywhere. And I said, it feeds my energy, it excites me knowing I have the time to give back, sharing my skill with my community and help them. And also I still want to learn how I can serve better my community in time of natural disaster. So you gotta be excited. You gotta be, exciting is like Jim Les Brown said. You gotta be hungry, hungry to get exciting every day. And I think that what you just said and share, every day you have an opportunity to get excited. And I know a lot of people didn't realize that, and so every day they said to themselves, "Here we go again. We have to drive all the way to work and do the boring stuff, and then we come back." But the person who changed his life, by setting goals and work on his personal development, he's got something to work on it because he got excited. He understands why I'm here and why I live, why I have purpose, why I have goals, because I want to achieve something that got me excited, give me more energy to strive more, to lead more, to give more and be more, and become more. So get excited. I think it's a great reminder for all of us.
Do you know, listening to what we're listening to here, Joe, something is just, I've just had one of those little synapses that stick together in your brain, and when we're talking about designing your life 5 and 10 years ahead, 5 and 10 years ahead seems such a so far away. What Proctor talks about, you'd never know how much time you've got left. You've only got now. So we have to make some assumptions that we're going to get there. We're going to get there, in 5 years. We're going to get there in 10 years. And that seems so far away. And the goal might be so huge that maybe you think, God, it's just that big that I won't even try today. Do you know what I mean? I'll take a day off. Day becomes 2 days, 2 days becomes a week, 2 weeks passes by and you've done nothing. But that 5 years is still so far away. Do you know what I mean? Still so far away, and you think, well, it doesn't matter because it's like 5 years away, it's 10 years away, it doesn't matter. But then I think, that if you did one thing every day, just one thing that moves you closer to your goal, we've talked about it before, you get that compound effect. Do you know what I mean? Because that one little step, what is it? A journey of 1,000 steps starts with a single step. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Take a step every day. Take one step, little step. Just doesn't need to be a big thing, just a little thing. Whether it be talking to someone, inviting someone to something, sharing something with somebody. Just one thing every day. One thing every day. Like if you did that every day, even just for 90 days, like if you shared something, if you shared your business opportunity with somebody, just one person every day for the next 90 days, would there be something at the end of it? There'd have to be.
Yeah.
There'd have to be. Imagine if you did that straight for 900 days. That's less than 3 years.
Yeah.
Imagine if you did that for 600 days. You shared your business opportunity with someone every day for 600 days in a row. Like, to be honest, I think that is a worthy goal. Because your business would be so different to where it is today. Never mind then, like when we talk about, I was talking to a young girl the other day, and she was talking about doing in fact, I was encouraging her to do a 90-day run. They call it a 90-day sprint. This girl, she generates everything she does is done online. She generates between 15 to 20 leads a week, qualified leads a week. And she only maybe closes less than one. And I said, you've got to work on your closing, work on your sales skills. Directed her towards the Eric Worre book, which she's already read, so you need to read it again. There's another book called Exactly What to Say, I was just telling her a few things, where she could get the help. And then I was saying, look, you've got to plug back into your upline, get plugged back in, follow their lead, get a running mate, go back to your upline and tell them I want to do a 90-day sprint. That's what they call it, and they'll probably say, all right, I'll do it with you. Let's do it. Let's go,
Yeah.
And something will happen over those 90 days. But imagine if it was 600 days. And instead of doing that sprint where you're trying to talk to 10 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people every day, that little act of one person every day, whether you're trying to share a product, sell a product, share the business opportunity, in 5 years' time, that's 900 people you would have spoken to. Law of averages says that 90 people, you'll have a solid 90-person group. Do you know what I mean? Just on the law of averages. But over those 90 days, or 900 days, the law of averages says that you're also going to get better in your approach. You're going to get better in your conversions, and it's more likely going to be closer to maybe 400 people in your organization. Your teaching is going to get better. How you communicate is going to get better. Everything's going to get better. So that 400 people is probably going to be more like 4,000 people in your organization. Because as you get better, the other people that you're bringing with you, you're teaching them better. Your teaching becomes better. Your technique becomes better. Everything becomes better. So thinking that far away, but bringing it right back to the macro and the macro and the micro, right? You've got this thing that's so far away, so big, unbelievable, not even sure I can do it, to coming back to the day and say, well, if I just do one thing every day for the next 5 years, that's going to move me closer to that goal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Everything's going to get better. Everything. Like that major change doesn't happen today. It happens as you move along. It's like Joey, it's just like you say, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time. But it's that consistency, that discipline, all of those things that we're talking about. So I've had a real kind of moment here for me. I feel so much better. Right, let's watch the end of this. You're you're chatting and chatting and chatting all fucking day. No one can get a word in, Joey.
And that's exciting.
Okay.
Knowing that intellectually and personally, you can actually do the things that will make major changes in your life. That's number 4. Number 5 is get away. I have found, especially in the last 15, 20 years, that there's an important thing called life balance. You've got to learn to get away. You must learn to get away and be alone. Learn to get away and reflect. Learn to get away and learn how to live as well as how to earn. How sad it would be to learn how to earn well, but not learn how to live well. You must balance your life. We teach something, especially in my staff, I teach something called lifestyle. Lifestyle is how you learn to live your life. Some people have money, but they don't even know how to spend it. They have time, but they don't know how to spend it. Some people are successful, but they don't know how to spend their success. They don't know what to do with it. They don't get joy from it. Rather, they get animosity. A father takes $5, crushes it, and throws it at his son and says, if you need it that bad, take it. Now, it's the same $5, but instead of dispensing it with joy, he dispenses it with animosity. That's the difference in not knowing how to live. It's called lifestyle. Then you've got to take time to cultivate good friends. You've got to take time to be with your family. You've got to take time to be with the people who are important to you, designing your life in those respects. Get away. Take the time. Reflect on your life. Recharge your batteries. Do some growing away from your enterprise. Then when you come back to your enterprise, after you have taken this time to balance your life, you will find that on the job, working on your enterprise, things will really go much better. So those are the 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. Get serious, get smart, get going, get excited, and get away.
All right, Joey. Right, listen, we're going to get straight into your final thoughts and include lifestyle in it. And look, this is episode 111, 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. Joey, let's hear your final thoughts.
Mike, thank you very much for the time. I really appreciate it, and also give me the opportunity to say our final thought for our program for tonight. And if you're watching this, whether it's right now or the replay, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time. And if you found this video, which means you are searching for something, either for an opportunity, a search for something to grow your mindset or personal growth, we do believe that what we share and also pay it forward from the people who we learn from, those mentors like Jim Rohn tonight, is going to help you open your mind to a new world, open your mind to a new perspective. Because as we discussed tonight, of 5 steps that shared by one of our mentors, Jim Rohn, on how to get from average to fortune or wealthy, it's a simple step, by getting serious, by getting smart, and by get going, and get excited and get away. In life, we all want something in life, and that's our human spirit. Every time we need something in life, we think about something. This is what I really want. I want to get a new job. I want to have a better income. I want to build a business. I want to take my family on a holiday. Those things come from inside, because Bob Proctor talk about what you want is what it's come from inside. It's not the external one. It's not what other people think about it, or what are other people's opinion of you that you should do. But that's your spirit communicating with you. This is what I really want. This is what I want to achieve for my family, for my loved ones, for myself. And when you experience that, that means you are on the first step to moving forward to something bigger, something exciting, something that will put you in a better place, better feeling, better thought, and will get you to a better action, which lead to get a better result. So tonight, as we cover all those 5 steps, and if you only can take one step and start implement it, for example, just get serious. In life, a lot of people just don't get serious in life. You know, um, they still kidding around. They still joking. They still hoping, wondering, and dreaming. But they need to really become serious. And serious coming with sit down with a piece of with a pen and a piece of paper and put down everything that you think about that you really want to achieve in your life in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Put down on a piece of paper, write it down on a list, and then go through those ideas that you want to achieve in your life and just number them. Number one, what I really, really want. Number two, this is what I second want to do. And and if we encourage you to start something that being serious, start with your health, because our health is our wealth. Our health is the most important asset that we have. So, get smart. You know, in life, either you're gonna be ignorance or you have knowledge. And ignorance is don't know what we don't know. And knowledge is come from learning, and learning come from reading books, listen to audio books, listen to audio podcasts, listen to YouTube, watching YouTube, educational, attending seminar, attending call. Me and Mike are inviting people to come and take a look what we do. Our team, our professional, see what they do, because we want them to expose to get smart instead of working hard. There's a better way. It's not perfect. It's like in any business that we do, but it's better because we've seen the result. We've seen people exciting. We've seen people travel places. So get serious, get smart, and get going. Just like Jim Rohn said tonight, get going is like a builder who bring all the material to a property and never build it. But the good builder is the person to bring all the material and then start building the house from that material. And this is what we've been encouraged tonight. If you listen to this, if you're watching some of the previous episode, start applying them, start act on it, start throwing out there, whether it's stick or not. And you make mistake and you learn from it and you review and adjust the way you act, the way you approach things in life, and get excited. To get exciting in life, you have to have something to work to. A lot of people don't get excited in life because they're just drifting like a boat on the current. They don't know where they go because they don't have a set goal. They don't have a set of the goals. They don't know where the destination is. It's like driving or flying in a plane. They don't know where to land. So you have to know where you're going so that you can start work on it, act on it, so you get excited when you know. Like when we listened to the pilot said, it's about 5 minutes before we're landing into Paris, into Sydney, into Ireland. And this is the same that we want you to experience in life when you work towards your goals. And the last one is just to get away. And I think I can put it simple. You need time for yourself, whether it's by yourself up in the mountain, in the beach. You need time to reflect on your life, reflect on your winning, reflect on your mistake, reflect on your learning, what experience did you learn, what things that you didn't do better. And also take time away from the chaos of this world, and do something that uplifting your spirit. Do something that reset the course, refocus you to where you're supposed to be. Because in our journey, it's like a rocket that goes to the moon. And every now and then the rocket is off course. And as a human being, we off course every time we do going to the moon. But you know what? If we learn to develop ourselves, to learn about ourselves, learn how to grow as a person, learn how to be better every single day, learn the skill, how to get better. You can adjust yourself to come back to the course, to the right course, so that one day you will land on the moon, and then you got be excited, more excited. And not only you got excited, but you can come back and share with the world, share with the people that you know. This is where I was, and I decided I'm gonna go to the moon. And I make mistake because I act on it, and I fail many times, but I didn't give up. I just stay on the course, work on myself 1% better every single day. And I went up to the moon, and now I see the benefit. Now we come back and share with you. And hopefully that's our lesson for tonight. And I hope you learn something new. And if you learn something, please don't keep it to yourself. Share with others. And I hope and I wish that our name will be appear on your testimony, because you never know. You're gonna tell your story and said, one day I was flicking through the YouTube or the Facebook, and I saw those good two looking guys. One is a brown islander and one is a white islander. And they say something, and I went and applied it, and it changed the whole course of my life. And that's the psychology reward that will not wipe from this world, because it stay on and in people's life.
Joey, like you said something there. When we first got started, about 3 lines in on my notes, I wrote, shoot for the stars. Based on that, shoot for the stars. You never know, you just might reach the moon. And that's what it's about. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I've enjoyed today's show. Don't forget, you can find Joey on facebook.com/Joey Unger. Go and check him out. You need to. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Click that notification button. Learn about, to learn when we're on. Usually around about the same time every week. And don't forget, in the description, go and join the My Tribe community. And in the community, you'll find other groups, inspirational groups, other groups relating to different products and business opportunities you can get involved with. It's really designed to help people find their why, live with purpose, and grow together. That's what it's about. And of course, there is a Zoom registration link where we're launching that community around the end of September. So it's going to be exciting. So look, you've been watching Freedom, Health and Lifestyle. 5 steps to go from average to fortune. Joey has laid it out perfectly. Make sure to watch the replay, because you're probably going to hear stuff that you didn't hear the first time round anyway, right? Listen, great to be here. And we're going to play out with this video at the end. And I say it every week. If you want to copy this video, just reach out, get in touch. I'll send you a link to it. In fact, I will actually put it in the inspiration group in the My Tribe for anybody that wants to download it. But this is just one of the best videos. Right, we'll see you in a second.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.